Hmm. Hmm. Hi. Hello, my Rythmia family. How is everyone today on this beautiful Saturday? It's so beautiful. So thrilled to be here with you today. And so happy you're joining me in our Rythmia world. Hi, Sherry. Thank you for saying hello. Where are you at? Please tell me where you're at. Oh my goodness. Send me that. I love that. Heart of the world. Oh, yeah, I love that. Beautiful. How are you today? Sherry, tell me, tell me. Everyone, tell me. Give me your name and where you're at, please. Tell me, tell me. I want to know. Very secluded. Me too. Me too. If I open these curtains, you'd see, but then I couldn't see you. Hi, Michael. I love that you're here. Texas, Michigan. Yes, yes. Oh, I love this. Life is good. So I am in Arizona. No, I'm not in Arizona. I'm reading that. I'm in Malibu up in the mountains, and it's beautiful today. It's truly beautiful. The topic, Carl, is about embracing our growing edge. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. England's with us. I love this. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. My name is Kim Stanwood Terranova. I'm the teacher at Rythmia of the Answers You program. So some of you have been with me in class, and I hope those of you who haven't will be with me in the future. And and I'm sorry, Robert, that just makes me laugh. And I'm looking forward to whether I see you here. I'm here on every other Saturday right here in Rythmia Land, as well as every Friday on our Love channel. So please find me when you can. So today we are talking about our growing edge. And I want to look at where in our life right now that challenges are up. So I'm welcoming you to type it right in there that what's challenging you in life, what is in front of you that's challenging you. Because when we look at the challenges in our life as more than the challenge, that there's something being birthed in the challenge, then we have a propelling momentum to move through the challenge. But we must look for the gift. So first, I want to know what your challenge is. So please type it in there. Whatever is occurring in life, could be what's happening in the world right now, could be relationship, could be employment, could be health. Challenges are our spiritual liberators if we look at them as such. So I'm going to read to you today. And the first thing I'm going to read to you is from Spiritual Liberation. And this is what Michael Beckwith says as challenges. He says, many people believe that a challenge-free life is a happy life. However, life with its challenges stimulates our growth and development. Looking back over your life, you will have to admit that your growth was accelerated when you faced some form of suffering or pain that brought you to your wit's end. Such experiences hold the possibility of being catapulted from the small mind to the big mind. Challenges reveal our blind spots, the places where we are yet bound by our personality traits and habitual thoughts of lack, limitation, and so on. The suffering caused by such mindsets motivates us to grow beyond them. If you think you don't have any problems, that there are no longer any valleys to forge, then although you may not have retired from your life, you have retired from truly living. Being alive means welcoming the next challenge because you've discovered how this activates the evolutionary impulse to establish a higher vision in your life. So, when you contemplate the challenges in your life, ask this question: what gift within me is seeking to emerge? Or what is my growing edge right now? Place your attention on the emerging gift rather than the challenge. Place your attention on your growing edge rather than the challenge, and you will witness how the challenge begins to dissolve. So, our growing edge. This is a really important conversation. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Dorte. I think I'm saying that right. My challenge is getting my house decluttered and letting go. Okay, great. Nathan. Yes. Okay, great. These are all good. Oh, that's funny, Robert. Andy, got it. Okay, whoops, Daisy. Where'd you guys go? Come back to me. Where'd you guys go? There you are. I want you to keep typing in there. What's the challenge that's before you that needs your attention right this moment? Back to, when we consider what our growing edge is, we're looking at what must be birthed within me to move through this challenge. Now, I've had a whole bunch of these challenges, as all of us. Oh, what's the book? Excuse me. I'm going to be talking about two of them. Spiritual Liberation from Reverend Michael is the book that I just read from. When we're looking at what must be birthed within me to move through this challenge, we then take our attention and energy off the issue and get back into the availability of what must come through that will bring in the solution. If our attention is only on the issue, the challenge at hand, we stay in the issue. If we're repeating and we look at, why did this happen to me? What's going on? This isn't fair. Any of that keeps us stuck in the challenge before us. Years ago, when I was in the midst of one of my many big, massive challenges, I had the blessing of Michael Beckwith, who wrote the book, gently putting his hand on my back and looking at me so tenderly and saying, what's your growing edge right now, Kimberly? Because you cannot make it through this the same person that you are today. You can't. And if you don't get interested in what must grow in you as you are to grow through, you're not going to make it through this challenge. So what's your growing edge? You really don't want to hear that when you're right in the middle of the muck. And sometimes it's the best question for someone who cares about you to ask. So I'm asking you right now. You know the challenges. I love this. I want us to look at, if this challenge is before you, relationship challenge, if it's to stop procrastinating, if it's whatever the detail is, hi, Eric, to know this is my challenge. So Autumn, I'm pointing to you right now. If relationships is the challenge, here's the question to ask. What must grow in me to bring forth expansive possibilities in relationship? What must grow in me? Is it patience? Is it listening? Is it a deeper level of love for myself? I'm not sure. Each of us have to ask our own inner question to then listen to what the answer is. So back to when I was in one of those many challenges. When he asked me that question, my opportunity at that moment was to be still and truly listen, to truly listen. Oh my gosh, Greg, that is just adorable. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. I had to listen to my inner voice, but I asked the question that he said to me, what must grow in me? At that moment in time, it was so dark. I'm sure I was on my knees crying of like, oh, how, I don't know that I want to keep growing. We are evolutionary beings. We will never stop growing. Once we surrender to, I'm more interested in what is growing versus what the issue is, then we expand the evolutionary process of our souls and allow the growing edge to be birthed to bring us the pearls of wisdom that come through us. Please, I'm going to repeat that and break it down. Hi, Erin. And so once we ask the question, what is my growing edge here? And then cultivate deep listening and really listen. At that point in my life, oh, I remember it was faith. I had faith, but I needed unstoppable faith because the challenge I saw before me was so massive that I could not imagine how myself, Kim, could create anything to find a solution to this. It was too big. So the answer that came was, I got to cultivate massive, unstoppable faith in the midst of horrific situations. I got to stand in faith. It wasn't comfortable. It was painful. And I chose to stand on my growing edge more than the issue at hand. So when we know what is my growing edge, what must grow in me? Esther, I want you to ask that question. What must grow in me to release that addiction? That's the question to ask. What must grow in me for me to stand in it? Aaron, more self-love and self-care. Then if you know that's what must grow, and I'm going to use this, Aaron, I'm using Aaron's as an example. Hi, Gina. Then you lean into, she knows her issue is more self-love and self-care. So she jumps into, then what's my growing edge? For more self-love and self-care. So then my intention is to make choices. Aaron, please write this down. My intention is to make choices that honor my body, temple, mind, body, and soul, so that I'm always in self-care. So you ask the question, what must grow in me? You cultivate listening for the answer. And then your spiritual practice is based on that answer of my growing edge, now building a practice that supports the growth to occur. Did you catch that? Now growing a practice that supports the growth to occur. So we get to lean into the question, the listening, and then propelling a practice that assists us to grow. So I'm coming back to the example I gave you. When I got interested in, whoa, I have to grow in faith because I can't see how I'm going to make it through this. Then daily, not just one time, daily. So each and every one of you, Esther, I'm talking to you right here as well. Daily, my practice was, what's my intention? My intention is to live in unstoppable faith. My intention is to stand in unstoppable faith when it's hard and cultivate that more than anything, so that that amount of faith was growing through me. So then my choices are based on that intention. So if we have an intention, Esther, my intention is to make choices that honor my body as I release a pattern of addiction. Say something like that. As I release any patterns that no longer serve me. My intention is to make choices that honor my body, releasing patterns that no longer serve me. Then we know our growing edge is to release patterns, to stand in self-love and make choices that honor our body. Once we set that intention, then we know when we're about to make choices moment by moment by moment in our life, we absolutely have the ability to then lean into this choice. Does it match my intention? Okay? Think about that. Contemplate that. I'm going to read to you from another book. This one's my book, The Technology of Intention. On the Growing Edge, I say, a few years ago, I had a growth spurt that required massive strength and created a profound expansion in my life. I probably could not see it from that standpoint at the time. I was in the thick of it. But looking back, I'm quite aware that I was being catapulted into expanding to the next level of evolution of my soul. This catapulting action was at times extremely painful, moments seemingly horrific and completely impossible. Yet it was clear that I was being called to grow. That's what I'm asking you. Wherever you're being called to grow, my invitation to you is to be more interested in that growth than the issue before you. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm saying it's doable and it's worth it. When we become more interested, and I must grow, and to get through this issue, whatever it is, I am choosing to be on my growing edge and then to build the practices that support it. Yes, when we're at Rythmia, we're doing all of this together, which is beautiful. And we are able to do that with a program that matches it spiritually, physically, emotionally, on all levels. That we're honoring the medicine and all that comes through and then healing through the pathway of these practices. And we're now doing it right here with you. That we get to remember we are more than the challenge. And what must grow in us is the pearl of wisdom that wants to be birthed, which is why the challenge came forward. Now, the miracle exists at the center of the birthing of your growing edge. Please hear me on this. This is important. The miracle of you is birthed at the center of where you're transforming on your growing edge. So when you choose to look at the challenge about your growing edge, thank you, Michael, then you're able to see, wait, my miracle is right in the midst of me birthing the quality that must come rising up for me to move through this. Please hear me, everyone. What is the quality that must birth up in you to come through you so that you have the miracle? That's where the miracle lands, is that when we are willing to birth the quality that must come rising forward. Making sense, right? So I'm going to keep reading for a minute. The journey required me to live everything I knew, everything I believed in, and everything I had ever learned. It was not comfortable. It was quite painful, and there were rivers of tears flowing while my pearls were being cultivated. Hear that. Yet it was a necessary path I had to take for my life to change. So many, I want to say this gently, humans, so many of us ask for change. We want change. We want love. We want divine body temple. We want the perfect employment. And often we experience the fear of moving through the change that must, hi Michelle, that must be with us to absolutely birth the miracle. I love this. I love that. Thank you for being there with it always. I'm here with you live, even though I can't be in the room. I'm here with you live. So we have the opportunity to know the human patterning, not always, but often, that avoids the challenge. Too painful. Don't want to do the work. It's too much. Don't know how to do the work. All those are blocks in the channel where the miracle wants to be birthed. Did you hear that? They're all blocks. When we take a breath and lean into this unlimited presence and get more interested in what must come through me, birthed through me to make it through this challenge so that I am experiencing the change I wish through consistency. Consistency is a key. I didn't say to you that I woke up one day and went, oh, my growing edge is to live in unstoppable faith. And I said it once. I said it every day for a couple of years. But that every day for a couple of years was my guiding light. Then the actions of the day that I'd say, what's in alignment with this for me to grow in faith? What do I choose now? I had something to go back to. My choices were based on this is my growing edge and I'm more interested in that. So if I have to go through something difficult, temporary, it's temporary. We don't stay in the difficulty if we're willing to grow through it. I like that sentence. We don't stay in the difficulty if we're willing to grow through it. I'm asking you, hi, Susan. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you there. We grow through it. Susan and I are just right back plopped at Rythmia right now, having an evening together. We grow through it. I invite you to look at those things. What must I grow in? I'm willing. Start the sentence with I'm willing. I'm willing to rise up in resiliency and move through the challenge with grace and strength and lean into others, my Rythmia family, my family, to keep showing up here, to keep showing up, to keep reading, to keep growing, to keep meditating, visioning, setting intentions every day. Ask Michael, to keep staying clear that I'm bigger than the challenge. And if you can't feel like you're bigger than the challenge, and I understand if you can't, know that the power within you is bigger than the challenge. Our existence in the human realm has a spiritual truth that we're connected to, tapped into a power that is unlimited by its very nature. And when we're leaning into that unlimited nature, whatever seems too big for us is not too big for Source. So when we remember, okay, I may feel small and not sure how to get through this, but I'm backed by the power of the universal field that nothing is too big for it. And I'm connected to it. That's profound. I'm connected. You are connected, each and every one of us, to an unlimited power. So back to our growing edge. The growth spurt comes without difficulty if we're willing. So let's stay in. My intention to be willing. Great, perfect. I was just thinking, and Gina wrote it. Don't you love it? I know how it all goes together. Gina, yes. Willingness. You have heard me all say this before, and I will keep saying it. If we can't know it yet, if we feel like, "Ooh, this is too big of a challenge and I can't stand in it yet," just open the door to be willing. But I'm willing. My intention is to be willing. My intention, as Gina said, is to be willing to walk through all emotions. My intention is to be willing to know I'm held through all emotions. My intention is to be willing to know it's safe to feel the emotions because they're coming out, up to come out, so that I can be clear that I'm willing to walk on my razor's edge of my evolution. I want to evolve. I want to keep evolving. And I believe all of you do, or you wouldn't be here with me today. We wouldn't be spending our Saturday together like we are. So that's our growing edge. Now, since that day that Reverend Michael asked me that, I have asked many clients that question. I will continue to. I will ask you in class sometimes or right here. What's yours to grow in? And I invite you to ask yourself when things get intense. Ask the question, get quiet in meditation and ask, what must grow in me to get through this? What quality must rise up? Okay? And then listen and then honor that quality. That's part of our journey in healing. And I guarantee you, every time you ask, listen, apply, and practice. I've never said them that way, and that was really good. Ask, I got to write that down. Listen, apply in your practice. You are then not only evolving, you're preparing for your evolutionary jump, and you're also transforming in this life experience and not staying the same. So if you don't stay the same, the challenge can't stay the same. Do you see the connection? You change, the challenge doesn't exist because you changed right in the midst of it. And there is the miracle. The miraculous is everywhere. We get to see it through cultivating our pearls in the midst of the challenge. So I invite you today to cultivate by asking the question, listening, and applying. Okay? I'm going to bless you in a moment. And then I get to cultivate massive strength today because here on the property, we're taking a slope like this and building steps all the way down it. So for future things, people can walk all through the mountain safely without sliding down the mountain. We're going to have steps. That means I get to really get super strong today. That's my growing edge for today. All right, all of you. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so grateful you're here. Hey ho, hi Frank. I'm so honored you're joining us in Rythmia World, and know that Rythmia, I can't wait to see you face to face. And until then, we're going to keep doing this and keep showing up to tell you that we're grateful you're with us. And let's transform together because we've got a lot of evolutionary jumps still ahead of us. And I want to do them with you. All right, I'm going to bless us and then I'm going to sign off for the day. Accepting and knowing that this day, every day, that we lean into Source and allow it to lead us with every breath we take. That our listening, we hold discernment in our listening so that our ask of what is our growing edge has a discerning, strong answer to guide us to grow. So I bless everyone listening to this now and in the future, that their edge is seen and heard, and they willingly, lovingly embrace it so that their growth is a transformational one. I bless us all. I bless this world. I bless this day. And so it is. Thank you for being here with me. Hey, I'll see you Friday, our love, at 2 o'clock. Come on, you guys, show up Friday. Michael shows up. Susan, come on, join us, all of you. Friday and every other Saturday. I'll see you here in 2 weeks. But before then, I'll see you Friday on our love. Okay. Send me strength today while I'm tackling a mountain. Have a beautiful day. I'm just so crazy about all of you. It's hard to say goodbye. Bye, Michael. Thank you all. I'm holding you all in my big prayers.